Days ago, Bobby Ross resigned, Gary Moeller took over, and in the 2+ weeks that he's been in charge, the Lions have shown themselves to be a better football team out on the field.
Well, Greg, and they're also very happy they've won 2 games in a row. Look at Bobby Ross, his last 2 games, how the team played, and look what has happened since Gary Moeller has taken over. Playing a lot better in a lot of categories, and I think the biggest reason why he's emotional in the short term so far, the players have responded to that very well. We'll see how he carries on for the rest of the season. On the other side, you have Bill Belichick. They play on Sunday, 3 days rest, coming to Detroit. His biggest task and his only task, he said this week, try to get my players rested, make them fresh so we can come in here, play well enough to win.
Well, Jim, we're expecting a good football game here today. We sincerely hope it doesn't come down to a coin toss. That happened when we were here 2 years ago, and that didn't go very well at all.
All right, well, listen, thank you, guys. We're going to see you shortly. And as you can see, Detroit trails the Vikings by 2 games in the NFC Central. Tampa Bay, Jerry's preseason Super Bowl pick, is a surprising 3 games back, and the Packers still hope to make a run at a wild card berth. Minnesota, by the way, plays at Dallas later today. The Vikings have the best record in the NFC.
We want to be world.
Another Thanksgiving and here we are.
We made it again.
Dude, like, why are we as a species, like, persecuted every year? It's so wrong.
Hey, my friend, let us elucidate for you the condition upon which we find ourselves.
Here we go again.
Hi, hold this talk. You're giving me such a headache.
Thanksgiving is about gathering the people you love.
And maybe some members of your family.
For the highlight of the holiday, football. I remember 1982.
Lawrence Taylor of the Giants.
With his knee screwed up and all that. Bada bing, bada boom. He runs, he scores, the whole 9 yards.
That was 97 yards.
Figure of speech.
And 1986.
Walter Stanley.
Green Bay versus Detroit Lions.
Walter Stanley.
He goes left, he goes right.
With 41 seconds left in the game.
Forget about it.
Whoa.
That is what I call poetic motion.
You mean poetry in motion?
Hey, who's telling a story here? What about that Emmett Smith back in 92 all nice? My feathers ruffled out so far, I knocked out 2 other turkeys that day. Go!
They were asleep.
Happy Thanksgiving, Emmett.
I remember 1998. That call, one says heads, one says tails. They get it wrong. Oi, what a miss.
Heads is the call. He said heads. It is a tail.
He said heads, definitely.
He said tails.
What are you, deaf? He said heads.
No, but you're dumb because he said tails.
Every year it's the same thing. We get together, we talk, they fight.
Don't peck at me. Are you pecking at me?
Dudes, it's the Patriots and the Lions today. Cool.
They'll find a way to argue about that too.
Ah, so now you're an expert on Bledsoe.
Are you pecking at me?
Well, I'm not kissing you.
Are you pecking at me? I'll show you the what for.
Whoa, this is whack.
Hey, who said anything about getting whacked?
Hey, I got it.
I said, are you pecking at me? Don't you peck at me.
Our country's history, Thanksgiving has conveyed warm thoughts of family and togetherness, and yes, turkey with all the trimmings. Since 1934, Thanksgiving has also meant football in Detroit, and it has become as much a part of this day as the family and the turkey in the oven. And this afternoon, here in the Pontiac Silverdome, this long-running and storied tradition is renewed as the Detroit Lions play host to the New England Patriots. Hi, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. Happy Thanksgiving Day to you and yours from all of us. You know, this Thanksgiving Day would be a lot better for the New England Patriots if a few of the close games that they've played had gone their way. But as usual today, it'll be Drew Bledsoe carrying the load, Phil.
Well, it will be Drew Bledsoe, and we talked to him last night, and he says emotionally, what a tough year for the fact that they've lost so many close games. A couple weeks ago, he hurt the thumb on his right hand, his passing hand. It's much better now, and that's good because to win today's game, they're going to need a lot of good passes from Drew Bledsoe.
On the other side of the field, Charlie Batchwell, quarterback of the Detroit Lions, he feels he is only now getting to the point where he should be this year.
Well, he got hurt back in June. He had surgery on his knee, missed all of preseason, So it's been a struggle for Charlie Batch. He has gotten much better the last couple of weeks. He has to play well today and the rest of the year for the Detroit Lions. Think about doing something in the playoffs.
The Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots, and at the end of the day, the best player of the day is selected by us, gets the now annual All-Iron Award. Back with the kickoff right after this.
Shannonshire, please, has always talking trash.
Football in Detroit and Thanksgiving Day, they go hand in hand. Welcome back to the Pontiac Silverdome, everyone. Working along the sidelines with us once again is Armin Katayan, and standing by with him, someone who knows all about this football on Thanksgiving, former Detroit Lions tight end, and now a scout with the organization, Charlie Sanders. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Charlie, you played in 10 of these games in the late 60s and into the 70s. What makes them so special?
Well, it's a special day here in Detroit. We know that the spotlight is on the city of Detroit. It's tradition going back into the 50s, and whether you're young or old as far as the years in the NFL, you get caught up in it. You have 80,000 plus sitting here and yelling their heads off, and I know as the team gathered in the middle of the field a few minutes ago, I started getting chills. So it's something that has carried on throughout the years, and a lot of teams don't want to come in and mess with it.
Thanks, Charlie. Greg, back to you.
All right, Armin, thank you. There's Bill Belichick in his first season as the head coach of the New England Patriots, and as Phil mentioned earlier, he's just trying to keep his players healthy and fresh getting in here. And on the other side of the field is Gary Moeller. 5 years, the head man at the University of Michigan, 3 Big Ten championships. People already knew Gary Moeller before he got to the Lions.
You're right, coach in the University of Michigan, Gary. He's so excited to be a head coach in the NFL. I really believe this. Even though he's not fast anymore, he could probably run down on the kickoff and do something. So he's brought some emotion to the team. Their spirits are high, winning the last 2 games, and we'll see if it carries over into this game.
Desmond Howard is the deep man for the Lions, standing at his own 4-yard line for the kick coming from Adam Vinatieri. The Lions have won the toss, and we're underway. This will be Howard from the 7. Shakes the tackle, 25, 27-yard line. A 21-yard return. Kato Sawanga makes the stop. And there's Charlie Batch. As Phil mentioned, surgery June the 12th. Missed so much of the preseason. They said, you just can't do that, Phil. You can't do that and be successful right off the bat in the season.
Well, the position's tough enough, Greg, and to not get your timing. And I think the biggest thing was physically, he just wasn't prepared to play, but he has played better the last couple of weeks in rhythm, and his right leg, which he hurt, is much stronger.
4 wide receivers right off the bat, and Batch starts from the shotgun. Quick toss over the middle, wide open, running room is David Sloan, the tight end, shakes the tackler. He's at the 35, the 25, caught from behind, is inside the 15-yard line. Ty Law came from the other side of the field to save the touchdown.
What happens in a game when you only have a couple of days to get prepared for, it's easy to catch the other team off guard. Detroit comes with 5 wide receivers, nobody in the backfield. Look, New England doesn't even adjust to it. No linebackers there, no secondary in the middle of the field, and David Sloan is wide open and gets a few extra yards with just good running. Boy, look over the middle, just no defender in sight. And Gary Moeller was the one that was worried about maybe we could see something new for New England's defense that we can't adjust to. Well, he sprung a nice surprise on the Patriots defense.
And the injury-riddled New England Patriots don't like the looks of this at all. Ty Law is down on the field at about the 10-yard line. Come on to replace him at cornerback. So the big play in the opener for the Detroit Lions, and it's first down now at about the 14-yard line. The fake to Stewart, the pass incomplete, intended for Schlesinger out of the backfield. Look at the New England Patriots defense. Up front for the Pats, Willie McGinnis, Brandon Mitchell, Chad Eaton, and Bobby Hamilton. At linebacker, Slade and Bruschi on the outside. Ted Johnson out with a thigh injury. Rob Holmberg replaces him in the middle.
Well, when you look at this secondary, the guy to look for in the backfield, the strong safety, Laurie Malloy, one of the best in the NFL.
Ty Law back onto the field now for second down. James Stewart. About a yard to the 13.
Well, Greg, when you look at this Detroit offense, the big thing they did the last couple of weeks They got their quarterback. That was the big concern here in Detroit most of the year. Charlie Batch back in rhythm, playing better, and what a way to start the game. Even that second play when he had Corey Schlesinger open in the flat. Get the quarterback involved, make him feel comfortable. He's got, of course, a better chance of being productive the rest of the game if you do that.
On 3rd and 9, Batch out of the shotgun. Lost the football. Scoops it up. Looking for some place to throw to the goal line. Incomplete. Pass intended for Johnny Morton to Bucky Jones was there to help break it up.
Well, the shotgun kind of new to Detroit. One of the reasons why they didn't want to do it is just this. Do you see Charlie Batch? He was trying to look down the field at the coverage as the snap was coming back. That caused the fumble, but he does do a good job not losing yards. Makes a pretty good throw in there to Johnny Morton.
So onto the field comes Jason Hansen to attempt what will be a 31-yarder. The snap is good. The kick is perfect. And so the home team on Thanksgiving Day jumps off to a 3-0 lead. Drew Bledsoe will take the offense onto the field on the sideline.
Well, look at Charlie Batch. It's a good shot. You can see his head come up. That's the reason why he fumbled the snap.
And Hansen with the kickoff. Kevin Falk from a yard deep in his own end zone. He is hit hard and driven to the turf at about the 15-yard line. Scott Polkowski, number 52. With a big special teams play, 16-yard return. Onto the field comes Drew Bledsoe in his 8th NFL season. He's missed just 6 games in 8 years, and that sore right thumb will not keep him out today. In fact, the 2 weeks he's had the bad thumb, Bledsoe's completing 61% of his throws.
Wow, maybe he should hurt another finger. But Drew Bledsoe, Bill Belichick says, listen, if this doesn't answer all the questions about this guy's toughness, then nothing ever will. That thumb, well, they say it's jammed. I think it's much worse, but he's played well with it, and he's shown a lot of courage and toughness doing that.
Bledsoe on 1st down, going to come deep down the near sideline. And it falls incomplete as Bryant Westbrook and Terry Glenn did a little hand-to-hand combat.
Well, look at the Patriots offensive line. It's got to protect Drew Bledsoe. Grant Williams out at right tackle. Greg Robinson Randall in for him.
In the backfield, Patrick Pass, the rookie out of Georgia, 7th-round pick, starts with Tony Carter. Glenn and Troy Brown, very capable wide receivers. Rod Rutledge is the tight end. Pass is the lone back behind Bledsoe, who has 4 wide receivers. Bledsoe on the move, rolling, throws to the sideline, and it is taken in at about the 20-yard line. Fine catch by Terry Glenn, but he'll pick up a 4, and it'll be 3rd and 6. The Detroit defense, a tough defensive line. Forshea, Jones, Ellis, and Scroggins, 17.5 sacks turned in thus far by that foursome.
And you look at the linebacker, Stephen Boyd, number 57 in the middle, does a good job of stopping the run.
The corners, Westbrook and Terry Fair. The safeties, Ron Rice and Corwin Brown. Kurt Schultz, the NFL's interception leader with 7, will not play today. And now with a 3rd and 6 facing the Patriots, Bledsoe has 5 wide receivers. Gonna run it. 25. Forward to the 29, and has enough for the 1st down. Bledsoe gains 9 on the play.
He gets up limping a little. That's something he would be able to do against this defense. If you spread them out, nobody stands in the middle because they're taking the extra linebacker to try to double Terry Glenn, number 88. You can see the tough shot he takes on his leg. Like there's not enough wrong. When a quarterback has something wrong with his throwing hand, that's a lot to overcome, but that time...
Must make it a little tougher to pull that ball down, too, Phil. A 1st down from the 29-yard line. Bledsoe throws, and Glenn had it in his hands and dropped it. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I guess you can tell if you're a fan at home, you want to know what the Patriots' game plan is today? Well, let's see. Every play so far, they've thrown the ball. Bill Belichick says, this is just a tough team to run against. Detroit Lions defensive line is good. And he goes, if I have to look up and see 2nd and 9 all day, I'm going to get a headache. So they're going to throw it, try to throw it short like that one on first down. That'll be the runs. And there's Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator.
2nd and 10. Fifth offensive play, 5th pass, sideline, Glenn, complete, inside, or just outside the 45-yard line, and now a penalty marker flies. That's a 25-yard pickup.
Corbin Brown, number 44, the ex-Patriot. I want to take a...
Ron Winter,
do a little
referee.
I'm sorry, Greg, to do a little extra business on his ex-teammates.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Late hit out of bounds. Number 44 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, let's look at this. Terry Glenn, number 88, out. Terry Fair, nice fake inside. Good coverage. Watch this. Right over the hand. Oh, and Corbin Brown, way too late out of bounds. You got to know that. But, Greg, that throw, that time by Drew Bledsoe, you hear it all the time. The extra element a running quarterback brings, that's what he brings. The element to make tough throws consistently down the field.
Line of scrimmage, the 31-yard line of the Lions. Bledsoe, quick toss, is going to get nowhere to throw Patrick pass, number 35. Alan Aldridge in to stop the play.
You know, as I watch the start of this game, well, this is going to be rough for the Patriots just to keep throwing the football every down. But here's first down. You know, throw some screen plays. That's what they're trying to do here. That takes the place of the run. Maybe some draw plays on first down, but when you see a team throw it every down like they have so far, down the line, this is going to tire out the front line of the Detroit Lions.
Five wide receivers for Bledsoe, the only rush by the Patriots when he took off on a passing play. The pass complete to Terry Glenn inside the 20-yard line. And a perfect example of a quarterback throwing to the hind shoulder.
Yeah, that's what it was, Greg. Man, you catch it on. Let's see, pretty soon you're going to kick me out of the booth. You'll do the analyzing too. But we talk about this every week. Watch this throw. It's really terrific coverage. Marquise Walker is all over Terry Glenn. So Drew Bledsoe does the one thing you can do. He throws it behind him. Terry Glenn turns. See the defensive player, no chance. Perfect execution by the offense.
Terry Glenn, 3 receptions, 50 yards already. A first down from the 16-yard line. Quick pass, far side, Troy Brown. And that'll go nowhere.
Well, I've already got I'm in rhythm here now, Greg. Screen plays are the big first down thing for the Patriots right now. But it's interesting. We talked to Bill Belichick last night, and he kind of told us what they were planning to do, and I was thinking, you're crazy. You know, it's just not going to work here in this dome against a team that I think the strength of the Detroit Lions is their ability to rush the passer. But so far, it's worked well in the first drive.
This is one of those situations Drew Bledsoe told us last night they have to capitalize on because their opportunities have been so few and far between.
Puts more pressure on the quarterback. He knows it. Knows he has to be efficient when he gets down in here.
Quick drop, quick slant. That's inside the 5-yard line. And complete to Shockmaine Davis, the rookie out of Angelo State.
Well, that's the other thing in this league too, Greg. All wide receivers now. You never hear about guys that don't want to go over the middle anymore. If you want to be a wide receiver in the National Football League, you better learn to go in there and take some hits. And Shockmaine Davis, a rookie, well, nice job. Went in there, 3 people around him, still makes the catch.
We asked Bledsoe about him last night. He said, he's kind of my project. I'm going to bring him along.
You know what that told me right away? He must have a little talent. The quarterback goes, this guy can help us out a lot with what he can do running down the field.
Well, Bledsoe calls timeout to stop the clock. 8:15 to play in the first quarter. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Silverdome. Happy Thanksgiving Day, Phil.
Yeah, can I say something real quick as we watch Drew Bledsoe in the red zone? Look at that, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. That tells me good design by the offense. They know what they're trying to accomplish and getting people in the right spots to make those plays. But just coming off that commercial, you know, the turkeys, I don't want to upset the Turkey Nation, but they are ugly. You know what I'm saying? They are really ugly.
I don't think you're telling the Turkey Nation anything it doesn't already know.
I don't want them to get upset at me.
Carter and Patrick pass in the backfield. There's a running play. Patrick pass to the end zone. Did he get there? No signal from the officials. But he was awfully close.
I thought he got in. Looked like he fell into the end zone, but it's a close mark. Caught the Detroit Lions off guard. A running play. Let's look from Cam. First shot of this today. Here he comes. Nice spot. What would make me think I have better eyes than somebody that's just a couple yards away and I'm 100?
This, the 11th play of a drive that began back at the Patriots' 16-yard line. Carter and Floyd in the backfield. The give to Carter.
Stephen Boyd, number 57, plays basically every down for the Detroit Lions defense. But one thing he does very well, he knows how to time his run to the line of scrimmage, especially in these type of situations, and stops the run.
Stephen Boyd, just an outstanding performer in his 6th season out of Boston College. Now, double tight ends for Bledsoe, Rutledge and Eichmann. And Carter and pass in the backfield.
I would run it.
Bledsoe gonna roll and look and keep it, and is stopped short of the goal line. Corwin Brown and Stephen Boyd converging to prevent the touchdown.
I thought that time they really had the Detroit defense set up to run it up in there. They are playing pass all the way. That's why Terry Glenn was covered. Bledsoe does a good job trying to get in to score, but watch Boyd, number 57. Oh, nice line of attack, and Corwin Brown, the ex-Patriot, ex-Jet, comes in and stops it.
And you know, it's been the kind of a year where I guess Bill Belichick feels his team could use a lift on the road, and he's going to go for it. Play clock is at 5. Pass and Carter in the backfield. And he didn't get it off in time.
Quarterback's fault. Always the quarterback. When you get a delay a game, it's got to be the quarterback. You must watch the play clock when you're going up to the line of scrimmage. And that cost him a touchdown.
So now the field goal unit will come on. Adam Vinatieri, who has never missed a field goal indoors.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Vinatieri is a perfect 18 for 18 with a roof over his head. He will attempt this one from 24 yards out. This to tie the game. And Vinatieri's kick is good. True Bledsoe. He'd rather have a touchdown than a field goal, but at this point,
somebody to yell at.
78-yard drive by the Patriots, and we're even at 3. Desmond Howard going to drift back to his goal line. To the 20. Bursts across the 30-yard line. Kato Serwanga. And Drew Bledsoe, when he came off the field, just looking for somebody to yell at. Drew, this is Thanksgiving, man. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan back at the Silverdome in Pontiac. There's Gary Moeller, his team, and New England. Each reached the red zone, each settled for a field goal. And Gary Moeller telling us on Friday, he used to be the linebacker coach here. He said, I'm still struggling with the offensive terminology.
Tuesday, Greg, it's Thursday. We're not doing a Sunday game today. Get with me.
Tuesday it is. Charlie Batch going to throw on first down, and Morton on the near side. And Morton to about the 35-yard line. Ty Law wrestles into the ground. It'll be 2nd and 6.
You talk about struggling with the offensive terminology. Gary Moeller says, I look at Sylvester Crooms, the offensive coordinator, and say, give me that play that goes down the field to the tight end. And And Greg Gumbel looks at him, you mean the plays that score? And he goes, yes, that's what I do. I might not know the terminology, but he knows what he wants. Offensive and a defensive coordinator and the head coach at the University of Michigan.
James Stewart to about the 38, 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Now, you know, Greg, he replaces Bobby Ross, Gary Moeller. I respect Bobby Ross so much. He did a terrific job in college and in the pros. But the difference, I think, is that Gary Moeller is a little more personable. He likes to go up to the players and interact with them a lot one-on-one. In other words, walk up to somebody during the week in the locker room and spend a few minutes and tell them exactly what he wants out of them for the week and a football game. And I think the players, so far, the first 2 games have responded well to that personal touch.
Batch pulls it down twice and then gets corralled, and a penalty marker is down. Chad Eaton all over the quarterback, and now let's check the flag.
There's no question. It's a face mask against the Patriots. I couldn't see who grabbed this face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, number 90 of the defense.
That's Chad Eaton.
15-yard penalty, and 1st down.
Chad Eaton, number 90. Oh, yes, he held on to it, too. So once you hold on to that face mask, if you grab it, if you let go immediately, it's only 5 yards. When you hold on to it, personal foul, 15 yards.
So the line of scrimmage is now the Detroit 49-yard line. And the pitch for Stewart tries the right side. They're a loose football. Well, it's blown dead at the 49 of the New England Patriots. They'll call it 2, 2nd and 8.
James Stewart, by his own account, Lawyer Malloy on a blitz. Perfect timing, and if it's not an outside run, he's going to make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. But James Stewart just loses it, trying to switch the ball from his right hand to the left hand. When you're in traffic, do not switch the football. Put both hands on it.
Batch gives it right back to Stewart. And there is not much there at all.
Well, James Stewart, we talked to him on Tuesday. And, you know, it was interesting talking to him. Coming from Jacksonville, replacing Barry Sanders. He goes, there's no pressure for me replacing Barry Sanders. We are 2 entirely different players. And he's right. He likes to get the football, take it straight ahead, run it in the pile, and get a few yards. And if he breaks a tackle, then he gets 10.
Also said he had to get a little used to the artificial turf from going from the natural grass in Jacksonville. If you don't pick up your feet, you tend to stumble on this stuff. Cedric Irvin is in the backfield now on 3rd and 7, and Batch from the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Patriots sending a bunch of people. Loose football. Covered by New England. Kato Serwanga, number 31, comes away with the football.
You know why you got to be a good 1st and 2nd down team against this Patriots defense? Because Bill Belichick on 3rd down, look at the people coming on the blitz. Charlie Batch in the shotgun, you got to get rid of it. And Kato Serwanga gets in, knocks it out of his hand.
And recovers the fumble.
And recovers. That's a sack, a fumble, and a fumble recovery. All in one play. But you got to be alert on 3rd down when you're playing the Patriots defense. Bill Belichick in his whole coaching career has been known on 3rd downs just to do so many different things that you just got to prepare for it and make sure you're really efficient on 1st and 2nd down.
Bledsoe rolling, throws incomplete, and gets crushed back at the 45-yard line.
Wow. I like their game plan, throwing the football, but I think Drew Bledsoe, I don't know if he's going to survive. That's about 4 or 5 big hits already for him, and we're still in the 1st quarter.
Still have 2:16 to play here in the 1st.
You know, this is like the old days for him. What did he say last night? I get less chances to make those plays. Well, today, throwing it almost every down, you're going to get those chances, so you got to be smart and get rid of the football when you can when the play's not there immediately for you, especially again on 1st and 2nd down.
On 2nd and 10, the give is to pass across the 30 to about the 29-yard line. Bledsoe also telling us, we've been making reference to that sore thumb of his, that he's had to adjust the way he takes the snap from center, too.
Yeah, had to change his hands and put him up there differently so the snap of the football wouldn't jolt that thumb and make it sore. He says it swells up by the time the football game is over. He said what he's saying, when he hurt his thumb, he came out to practice, fumbled the first snap, and he goes, oh my gosh, you know, coaches.
The coaches really love that.
Oh yeah, when you fumble a snap, it's like red alert.
3rd and 7. They need the 22-yard line for a first down. Bledsoe popped up into the air and falls incomplete. And another good rush on the quarterback by the Detroit Lions.
I didn't tell the people at home this. The Patriots caught the Lions by surprise the first drive. The Lions have made a nice adjustment. We can see a different defense already. If the Patriots going to throw it, then they're going to try to pressure him, it looks like now, and hit the quarterback.
So Vinatieri onto the field, this time from 47 yards out to give the Patriots the lead.
Is he still perfect?
He's still perfect indoors.
Okay.
It's long enough and straight enough, and New England has a 6-3 lead. Kato Serwanga, his forced fumble and fumble recovery have made it possible for the Pats to lead by 3. Our score, the Patriots with the lead on the Detroit Lions, and Vinatieri kicks it away. Desmond Howard, 2 yards deep in the end zone. 20, 30, 40, almost the 45-yard line. And Bill Belichick telling us last night he is just outstanding on special teams. I want to remind you, coming up tonight on CBS. For yard line, and boy, does that big return make a difference for the offense.
I don't know if you can do it, but I don't know if you can kick away from Desmond Howard, but he is something.
James Stewart gets nowhere. Bobby Hamilton smothers that play, and we check in with Armin down on the field. Armin?
Thanks, Greg. You know, there's so much made of the emotion of this game for the Detroit Lions, but after that play and Kato Serwanga got the ball, recovered the fumble, Rob Holberg, the linebacker, was on the sidelines and told his teammates in a fiery mood, hey, they're not ready for us. And you know what? He's right. Back to you.
All right, Armin.
Well, let's see. I got Greg doing analysis. Now Armin's doing it. I'm catching up.
Right!
My days are numbered.
2nd and 12. Batch play fake, steps up, throws down the middle, has Herman Moore wide open inside the 40 to the 38 to the 37-yard line.
Well, Armin, just to go on to your point, you are right, but they can do all the surprises on 3rd down. So here, good job of the Lions. 2nd down, play action. This is something they've been doing very well when we studied and watched the films. Look at Herman Moore down the field, extra protection for Charlie Batch. That allows him to look deep down the field, and look at Herman Moore, wide open over the middle.
Rob Holmberg saying they aren't ready for us, and you know what? Rob Holmberg turned around, and there was Herman Moore wide open. We've run out of time here in the first quarter. Thanksgiving Day, year 2000. The Patriots with a 6-3. What? You talk about tradition. That's exactly what that word means here in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. If you aren't here at the game, then you're in front of your television watching football from Detroit.
Greg, I've said this, when you come to Detroit for this game, you can feel how special it is to the city, the fans, and the community.
Johnny Morton on the receiving end inside the 35-yard line to about the 32.
And you get that same feeling when you talk to the players. And you know, there was an article in the Detroit News written by Jerry Green, and I read it, and it brought back all the tradition. And I started, you know, back in the 60s, Vince Lombardi coming in here with an undefeated Packers team. Back when it started, all the big games. When you're here, and we have felt it in a couple of days, that it is special to be here. And we're seeing it, too, from the Patriots. 3 days rest traveling. They're excited to play in this game.
Here's James Stewart. Straight ahead to about the 30-yard line. He'll be a couple of yards short of a first down. Holmberg with the tackle. Herman Moore told us, he said, you know, with the exception of the playoffs, Thanksgiving Day is the biggest game of the year in Detroit.
Oh, it is. And, of course, Bill Belichick told us that, too, last night. The Lions, they get their schedule. They just go, okay, Thanksgiving Day. It's just part of their routine. And he even laughed at us. He goes, Yeah, did they have their turkey dinner at the stadium yesterday? And we go, yes. Yeah, they've been doing that for 20-some years or whatever. So it's something I hope they don't change. They don't need to move it around. Keep this game at Thanksgiving in Detroit.
3rd and 2. Batch gets rid of it. Has his man, Walter Rasby, and that's enough for a first down inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Batch was looking at a defender right in the face and got rid of the football.
Greg Spires comes in unblocked, but Charlie Batch, you can see he's getting healthy again much quicker than he was about 4 weeks ago. Does a good job throwing under pressure.
There were times, Charlie told us, that he was just dragging that right leg. It was absolutely not responding to what he wanted to do.
Well, it was showing. There's Walter Rasby, the blocking tight end, so when the defense sees him blocked down, they think it's run.
Another blitz. Batch toward the end zone. Incomplete, and almost a terrific catch by Herman Moore. Ty Law was right there with him.
Well, you said it, another blitz. The Patriots are giving them a little bit of everything. Safety blitzes, corner blitzes. But Detroit, you know what happens in this league? Look at the blitz. Here comes double safety. It's picked up. Look at the protection. But Ty Law not taking chances against the blitz. Doesn't go for that first fake. Has excellent coverage on Herman Moore.
So it's 2nd and 10 now from the 23-yard line. Batch throws, batted down by number 91, Bobby Hamilton. 3rd and 10.
Bobby Hamilton, defensive lineman for the Patriots. Probably the one thing that's really hurt this team is the play and the injuries they've had on the defensive line. But today, doing a good job. They're holding the run, not letting Detroit get running holes, and they are also, because of the blitzing, putting a little pressure on the quarterback.
Detroit 1 out of 3 on 3rd down so far today.
Here they come.
The blitz is on. The pass to this side is complete. And Brian Stabline, number 83, is knocked out of bounds well short of a first down. And onto the field comes the field goal unit.
You know, usually I don't think in these terms because I know how significant every game is to coaches, no matter what the record is. But the Patriots are 3-8. They're just letting it go. I mean, they're bringing everybody. And, of course, we can see their style of offense today is just to try to throw it as much as they can.
So Jason Hansen will try this one from 36 yards out. Field goal kickers are perfect on Thanksgiving Day. Herman Moore came that close to making it a touchdown. We're tied at 6.
But yes, the Giants, when I played with them, we had a chance to play in 2 Thanksgiving Day games. One was here, and even though I didn't play, it was being around the locker room and being around the players. Everybody, you know, really pumped up and excited about coming down here to get a chance to play on national TV.
That kickoff will not be run out of the end zone.
In fact, that's when Lawrence Taylor, I know you've seen the highlights many times, intercepted a pass late in the game from, Gary Danielson, and he ran it back about 97, 98 yards for a touchdown.
Bad knee and all, wasn't it? Didn't he have a, well...
Who cares? He looked fast. He scored a touchdown.
He sure did. So Bledsoe and company back onto the field. And Bledsoe and Batch, each 6 of 10.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Bledsoe, you saw the number, 6 of 10 for 57 yards, but it sure seems like more. And it's looked better than 6 of 10 too. So when the plays are there and he has time, he is making the throws.
J.R. Redmond is into the game for the first time today, the rookie out of Arizona State at running back. And he gets the handoff and goes nowhere. Chris Claiborne, number 50, wrapping him up for a 1-yard loss, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
Well, a couple things. I just think the fact that Bledsoe's been getting hit a lot, they got to be a little careful with throwing it every down. And you know, the other thing too, Greg, this offense for the Patriots, it lacks a few things. As Drew Bledsoe said last night, they got a lot of players that one-dimensional. In other words, running backs that can only run, they can't go out, spread out, and make catches, things like that. So it's really limited the Patriots offense so far this year.
4 wide receivers for Bledsoe now, and They'll stick to the ground, and again, it goes nowhere at all.
And I think, too, even though Bill Belichick says he's happy, and I understand with a lot of things the offensive line has done, but they just cannot line up because I don't think they have that superstar running back or the power on their offensive line just to run it at you and gain 4 and 5 yards just out of meanness.
Well, as do many other teams. New England Patriots saddled with salary cap problems, and Belichick pointing out last night that fully 1/3 of his entire roster is rookies, first-year guys.
20 guys, first year with the Patriots. That's, well, that makes it tough.
Bledsoe, little hot before he throws, and it is incomplete. Just overthrew Shockmaine Davis, and they'll be forced to kick.
Well, the problem is, you're right, Greg. When Drew Bledsoe usually takes that little hop, you look out. But Shockmaine Davis, he told you, and you said earlier, how much he likes throwing to him, but it's indoors. And boy, Terry Fair, you're getting away with it, putting your hand on the wide receiver down the field. But when it's indoors, that football has a way of traveling a little farther than you think.
So for the first time today, Lee Johnson on to kick it for New England. And that man, Desmond Howard, is deep. Line drive kick. Howard back to his 20 and circles. Falls forward across the 20 to about the 22 or 23-yard line. 60-yard punt by Johnson and just a 3-yard return. Pontiac, Michigan, 6-6 tie as we get underway again. Charlie Batch and the offense with James Stewart, the lone back behind him, and he'll get the handoff. Try the left side, and not much there at all. Bobby Hamilton with yet another stop. And coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, Jim Nantz, Mike Ditka, Craig James will have first half analysis and a live performance by Boys to Men here in the Silverdome. That's coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. We're also going to ask those guys in the studio to get their voting hats on.
Get their voting hats on for the player of the game, the Iron Player of the game, and we'll see. Well, you know, we'll give them a vote, but you know whose vote really counts.
You bet.
Okay. I just want to get that clear.
Batch avoids the rush. Quick toss to Schlesinger out of the backfield, and that's not going to gain much at all. And the Detroit offense, last couple of times out, has not been able to do a thing against the New England defense.
Well, I think that the strength of the New England team all year has been the defense, and maybe hasn't played up to what I thought it could. But when you play it, they got good personnel. When you got Ty Law in the backfield, Laurie Malloy, you got 2 All-Pros back there. They got good linebackers, so and the scheme is very complicated and different, so it's hard to move the ball consistently against New England's defense.
And now the Lions are looking at a 3rd and 6. No blitz this time. Batch steps up and throws badly. Morton was coming across the field, and now the first booze of the day coming down on Charlie Batch, and we talked a little about that with him a little bit.
Well, he got booed a couple weeks ago against the Miami Dolphins, and Sylvester Croom, the offensive coordinator, told us that it kind of hurt his feelings. And that first time you get booed by the fans, it does hurt you, but he's gotten over it, and that's just going to be part of the job if you're a quarterback in the National Football League. If you can't handle the booing, then you're not going to be a successful quarterback.
You've got to expect it. You've got to expect that it's going to happen. There's movement up front.
I'll never forget your old working mate, Terry Bradshaw. I heard him one time say, a quarterback's got to suffer defeat, bad games, you got to be booed. It's all the bad things got to happen to you, because that will make you tough enough to rebound and come back and be a player. And I really do believe that.
And if you can't take it,
then you weren't cut out for the job to begin with.
Offside. Unabated to the quarterback, number 25 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
I know you were booed.
For 15 years. No.
Even coming into the stadium this morning.
Oh, well, thank you, Greg. But no, you're right. Everybody gets booed. There's been a few that probably didn't. I don't think Dan Marino ever got booed.
No. Not in Miami, anyway.
He's about the only one I know that didn't get booed.
John Jett.
Beautiful.
Nice punt. Sends Kevin Falk back to his own 13-yard line. Penalty markers down all over the place as Falk gets trapped up at the 15. 55-yard punt by John Jett. Saw several, not one, several blocks in the back on the way downfield.
You know, how many times we say that? It happens, and so many of these players, their main job is special teams, but the field is so big, you think you can get away with some of these blocks, that maybe they won't see you.
Oh, we have penalties going against the New England Patriots.
But I remember an official told me one time, there's Brad Seeley, the special teams coach. He says players got to realize when they spread out all over the field, we can really see everything. So it's easy to spot those penalties.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal block in the back. During the return, that penalty is declined. Holding, number 44 of the return team. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down. Timeout.
Bill Belichick wants to talk about it. Kind of tends to disagree. 9:25 to play in the half. First half of a 6-6 tie. And the New England offense has sputtered in the last 2.5 games. J.R. Redmond. Play fake. Bledsoe throws. And that's complete to his tight end, Rod Rutledge. And Rutledge out over the 10-yard line before he's met by several of the Lions, led by Stephen Boyd and Chris Claiborne. They're in a 6-6 tie now. We mentioned at the very top of the day, if a couple of those close games had gone New England's way, they'd be in a lot better shape. But
they just don't have the talent or the explosive players on both sides to put them over the top in those close games.
This on the ground for a first down across the 20, J.R. Redmond. Redmond was questionable for today's games with bruised ribs. Patrick Pass got the start, but Redmond has been in there for the last 2 series.
You know, just to go back and you'll watch this little misdirection run by the Patriots. That's what they got to do. They kind of got to trick you every once in a while to make the running game work. But to go back about their offense and the close games, they just don't, you know, they got Terry Glenn on the outside. He's an explosive player, but really that is it on offense. So nowadays you need at least 2-3 weapons, guys who can take short passes and score for you to be an explosive offense and win some of those high-scoring games.
On the ground again, out to the 24-yard line. Stephen Boyd making the stop. And, you know, I think Bill Belichick says, for instance, we have 2 good receivers, and then where do we go? He's been desperately searching for a number 3 wideout.
Well, or a tight end that can make plays. And, you know, the Patriots are still getting over the loss of Ben Coates for so many years. He was the guy in offense. And, you know, a tight end or an inside receiver, you got the whole field to work with. So it's a very valuable part to an offense.
Redmond to the right side. Across the 30, across the 35, and another first down for the Pats before Stephen Boyd again rides the ball tackler to the ground. Or the ball carrier to the ground.
Another example, fake the pass. It's another draw play. The offensive linemen stand up. The defensive line kind of goes for the fake a little. Well, nice job there. Joe Andruzzi pulling around. Let's see what it does to Stephen Boyd, number 57. Here he is. He's reading it. Gets across the formation. A little late, but still makes the tackle.
From the 36-yard line now. First down, New England. Redmond stumbles a little bit, falls forward to the 39. Claiborne at the tackle. A pickup of 3, and J.R. Redmond has given a little life to the running game now.
Yeah, he has. He has the speed to at least get outside and threaten the corners of the defense. And, you know, the other thing, too, Greg, why I think he's getting more repetitions in the backfield and more chances to run is that he, even though he's not a big guy, will run it up in there hard and try to get the tough yards for you.
Redmond was New England's 3rd-round draft pick out of Arizona State. 2nd and 7. Bledsoe gets rid of it over the middle. That's complete to Redmond to the 43-yard line. Pick up a 5. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Well, one of the reasons why the Patriots have changed their attack just a little bit. Watch Drew Bledsoe as he goes back to pass. Tracy Scroggins coming around. Robert Porcher all over him, and it's just, he is just getting that ball out just in time. Boy, nice job of just flicking it. Drew Bledsoe.
And that's the kind of pass that he told us is the kind that is most painful to his thumb when he just has to flick it.
Yeah, and he loses control of him every once in a while, too.
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 2. Play clock down to 3, down to 2, to 1. He just gets it off. Bledsoe going to lob it, has a man open, and it falls incomplete. Number 28, Ron Rice, came over to break it up at the last moment. The pass intended for Terry Glenn.
But what happened is Drew Bledsoe thought there might be trouble with the protection, so he brought the tight end back in, and it gave him time, and he does have the receiver open down the field. He didn't throw the football hard enough. That allowed Ron Rice to come from the middle of the field all the way to the side to make the play. Yes, and he knows it. Throw it in there.
So Lee Johnson booted a 62-yarder his first time. There's Desmond Howard standing at his own 13. Oh, another terrific kick by Johnson.
The throw spiral that game.
And bounces out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Lee Johnson, 16 years in the NFL. You think he can still get the job done?
They rely on their defenses. The defenses have played better this year than their offenses have. The offense comes out, they get a little something going early, but now they're both sides defense dominating the pace of play.
Batch to throw. Going to go deep down this sideline, and it is incomplete. Number 87, Johnny Morton, even with Otis Smith down the sideline. Oh, Bobby Flay was cooking on the pregame show. And what about baking with Charlie Batch? 1998 and 99, he was producing some pretty nice cookies, wouldn't you say?
Yes, they were nice.
But so far this year, and again, saddled with the knee problem and the surgery, he's burned a few.
Burned the cookies, all right. I like to cook the music like that myself.
Between that and ironing, quick pass out here, complete to Stabline. And Stabline out across the 15-yard line. A pickup of 9, it'll be 3rd and 1.
You know, the new thing that I've seen a lot now in the NFL, instead of the quarterback taking 3 steps back and throwing the football a few yards down the field, watch Charlie Batch. One, just throw it as quick as you can to the outside, let the wide receiver catch it. That time it's Stabline before the defense can react. If the quarterback takes those 3 steps and throws it a few yards down the field, the defense reads it, they come up there, and it just makes it too hard for the offense. So now everybody's doing it that way.
On 3rd and 1, Stewart breaks it outside. Breaks a tackle out to the 25, the 26-yard line, and a first down. To Bucky Jones had him, and Stewart broke free.
Well, see, the one thing the Lions like about James Stewart's style, you know what you're going to get. Yeah, he's not going to break it for an 80-yard touchdown, but they want him, and they know he's going to run it in there hard and get a few yards. And, of course, when you get in those 3rd and short situations, it's really valuable to have a running back of James Stewart's style.
8 carries today brings him to 1,000 for his career. Stewart in his 6th year out of Tennessee. Here comes 1,001 to the 29. James Stewart for a couple of years, a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's had himself a pretty nice life, Phil. You music connoisseur that you are.
Well, look what he's done in 99 and 2000. 20 touchdowns. That's my favorite movie, Greg.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Mine is Gimme Shelter. Shotgun. Batch over the middle. Finds a man at the 35-yard line. Tight end David Sloan fighting forward for a first down, and he's close.
Well, you know, we talked about it earlier. The Patriots don't have the guy that can go over the middle, find the space, and make the catch. But the Detroit Lions, David Sloan, when he's healthy, this is what he's good at. He's a very good receiving tight end, and that time covered by number 36, Lawyer Malloy. Here he comes in just a little late, getting in there before he recognized the tight end pulling up, but he still makes the tackle.
So from their own 7-yard line, the Lions have moved now to their own 36. Here comes the blitz. Malloy on the move, can't get there, and the pass is overthrown intended for Johnny Morton on the far side. Malloy appeared to come late that time.
Yeah, he didn't quite get the start. Charlie Batch fooled him, had a quick snap on. In other words, he got up on there and just went set, go. The defense, the key to blitzing is timing that snap count, and there's Charlie Batch's coach, Jim Zorn, the ex-Seattle Seahawk quarterback. Still throws it really well.
Yeah, I see him throwing down on the field before the game.
He does throw it good.
Batch from the shotgun. Going to keep it straight ahead, forward to the 39-yard line.
Well, that play right there illustrates the fact that you know Charlie Batch physically is back to, or getting close to. He's still not back, I don't think, to where he was last year. When you run the quarterback draw, that tells you he's healthy.
We come down to the 2-minute warning. Charlie Batch comes over to the sideline. We take a break and come back. 2 minutes to play in the first half. 3rd and 6.
Nice outfit, though.
And now, before the snap, Lawyer Malloy jumps in and says he wants a timeout for the New England Patriots. They use their second of the half. They have one remaining. Detroit has all three still to use. Along with Batch, and let's see how many players.
I say they're faking.
They do. They back off. The Patriot defenders do. Batch, quick pass over the middle. That's not going to get a first down.
Oh, no, that's just not. Charlie Batch has got to know that's not going to work if you're looking at the secondary, and that's why you put him in the shotgun. Lawyer Malloy never left that little space right in the middle, and he was there for one reason, to stop that little short pass like that.
Only 2 of Charlie Batch's 10 completions have gained 10 or more yards today.
You saw the stats on Lawyer Malloy. He is the guy. When you talk about the Patriots defense, we were talking to Teddy Bruschi last night, and it was like, well, Lawyer Malloy's the star, and it's like, wow, you usually don't hear players talk about another player that way.
And now the Lions call timeout before the play clock expires. We have 1:13 to play in the first half. We'll take another short commercial break.
By the way, did a terrific job getting past this guy to make New England take the fair catch.
Fair catch interference. Number 17, kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So that'll move the line of scrimmage out across the 30-yard line. Take another look.
Well, you'll see there's the fair catch signal. Falk makes it. He's trying to get out of the way. He just cannot do it. That's 15 yards. That's big. It might change the thinking of the New England Patriots offense. Look how far he got in front. Oh. You know, really, when you make mistakes like that, the coaches are not going to complain. When you hustle, you play hard, and you're a little unlucky, well, those things are going to happen.
Patriot offense really gone down the tubes the last 3 possessions. Bledsoe throws this side. It is incomplete. Closing on the receiver and the ball. Shockmaine Davis was the intended receiver. And Terry Fair made the play.
Well, I think one of the big improvements in this Detroit defense is the play of their corners. Terry Fair, number 23, and especially on the other side, Bryant Westbrook has played very well. So last year, you could throw a lot of passes to the outside. They played very safe this year. These guys are a little more aggressive in making plays.
2nd and 10, and the give to pass. Pass across the 35. And the clock continues to move under 50 seconds to play. Offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss, head man Bill Belichick, and Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator for Detroit. He's seen some football in his day.
He's been around a long time and been a defensive coordinator for a long time. Doing a good job with this Lions defense.
This is a 3rd and 5. And the clock continues to move down toward 20 seconds to play. Bledsoe going to get hit and brought down from behind at about the 30-yard line by Tracy Scroggins.
Really good job by Drew Bledsoe knowing the situation. He knows there's, you know, they're trying to maybe pick up a first down to move it, but when he started to scramble, He knows he's got to protect the football. Watch him put 2 hands on it. Watch the push the Detroit Lions get. They're very close to the punter. They get in there. They're trying to get the block. Johnson knows it. He knows they've done it to try to get to him. So catch the ball. And Barrett Green, number 54, the linebacker, really comes free, just not quick enough to get the block.
So at the 33-yard line, the Lions with 1 timeout and 11 seconds on the clock. And Drew Bledsoe trotting off the field at the far end.
Yeah, he's I wonder if something happened to him that last time he got sacked.
We'll keep tabs on that during halftime. And Bat's going to hand it off to Cedric Urban. And the boos rain down as time winds down here in the first half. It has been a battle of field goals. And let's go downstairs now to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Coach, how do you solve this Patriots defense, and how much does emotion play into it?
Well, I think a little bit of the emotion, but right now we got to be able to run the ball. We're getting a couple cutbacks play where we aren't getting a cutoff, and the fact that we just got to get guys open so we can hit them. It's a combination of both. I think our pass protection's decent, but we just got to get guys open, which we're not doing.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Greg?
All right, Armin, our halftime score, New England 6 and the Detroit Lions 6 comes to the stadium.
And that's what gave birth to the All-Iron
Award on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, thanks for sharing that with America, Greg. But that's it. Hey, you want to hold it? Because this is the only way you got no chance of winning. Anybody that's allergic to pain cannot win this award. But it's a fun thing we're doing, and I think we wanted to symbolize what we perceive a football player to be in this league. Play hard, play tough, do whatever it takes to win, and, of course, do it the right way.
The first 2 recipients of this award have been defensive players. In fact, they've been linebackers. Stephen Boyd 2 years ago here in Detroit, and then in Dallas last year, Dexter Coakley.
Well, they kind of epitomize football. The linebackers, they got a chance to be in the action, make all the plays, things like that. So it's kind of unfair. Kickers, quarterbacks, well, they're going to have to do something really, really special to win this award.
I tried to order one. They won't even let me buy one.
But you look a little crinkly today. Maybe you should have sent your clothes up to me.
Kevin Falk going to run it out of the end zone from 3 yards deep. Oh, it's hit hard at about the 13-yard line and gets no further. Kywin Supernaw, third-year man out of Indiana with the first hit. And let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. First of all, the update on Drew Bledsoe. He's okay. Nothing real serious there. No more sore than he was when he started the game. As far as the pass-run ratio, Belichick said they'll continue to do that because they don't feel they can run against the Lions. And finally, he said, we're looking for a turnover. He said that might be the only way we can turn this game around. Back to you.
All right, Armin, interesting thing about turnovers, the Detroit Lions lead the league in takeaways. We heard Mike Ditka say back in the studio at halftime that he thinks that might be a difference in this game, but so far Detroit hasn't done that yet.
Well, Greg, we did a game last week. We did the New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins, and it was all about the defense, who could make a turnover, and by watching the first half, I think the defense has got to take some chances and try to make some plays.
Bledsoe throwing, has his man, and it's incomplete. Shockmaine Davis, the intended receiver, and once again, Terry Fair closing in a hurry to break up the play.
What a terrific play by Terry Fair. He is on the outside, actually covering another receiver, but because he's deep, he's looking into the, watch this, here comes watch Terry Fair on the outside. Terry Fair, I'm sorry, comes off of his guy, sees the football thrown, and gets inside to break up the throw. You can only do that if you've seen that pass quite a few times and you've been in the league a few years. Teams try to hit it vertically inside like that.
Quick pass to the far side, and that is complete to Troy Brown. Troy Brown on the Terry Glenn make that. And a look at the first half statistics shows the emphasis on defense.
Well, it was defense, and not much to speak of there, Greg. Neither team running the football, and maybe a little surprised. I thought Detroit, the offensive line has been healthy or healthier. Second week in a row, they've had the starting 5 in there. I thought they might have a chance to run the football today with a little success.
3rd and 1 for New England as they try to get off to a good start here in the second half. Quick pass. Troy Brown, first down and more, out to the 33 to 35-yard line. That pass to Brown and the previous one to Glenn, the first passes that New England wide receivers have caught since the first quarter.
Well, look what they did this time. Troy Brown came across the formation, stop, goes outside, comes back underneath. Oh, and a good job. Patrick pass. It's a screen, comes out, gets the block, and lets Troy Brown get free to get a first down.
13-yard pickup on the play. First down now for the Patriots at their own 35. The pitch for Redmond. Tries to cut it back. Gets across the line of scrimmage for about a yard.
You know, as you watch this game today, but I think it's really evident again in it, Greg, you can see the Patriots have the design. They can make plays. They get their players in good position. But again, unless it's Terry Glenn, nobody can do anything special with the football. So in this league, you know, it's about making big plays. That's how you score in this league. You just can't march 80 yards on 10 and 12 play drives. Somebody's got to make big plays, and the Patriots just don't have enough of those guys.
Redmond and Carter split behind Bledsoe. Here comes a blitz. Bledsoe under the gun, throws, completes it. Carter to midfield and into Detroit territory before Scott Kowalkowski makes the stop. 15-yard pickup and a good job by Drew Bledsoe.
Well, blitz by Detroit. They got the perfect play on, a screen play. And that's about the 6th screen play of the day the Patriots have run. And you do that so you take the pressure off your offensive line. Here comes the blitz. You can see a secondary guy coming from the outside. And a really good job of the Patriots taking advantage of a good situation.
That was okay.
So first down now at the 49 of the Lions. Bledsoe with completions now to 7 different receivers today. Redmond again. Back to the line of scrimmage and tacks on maybe another yard or so. Kelvin Pritchett, number 93, in on the stop for the Lions. We'll call it a pickup of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, the Patriots kind of starting the second half the way they started out the game. Showing the defense a little bit of everything, getting some positive plays.
Clock continues to move. We're just underway in the second half. 11:20 to play in the third quarter. Bledsoe. Incomplete, and this time Fair beat the football to the receiver, and that'll be an interference call.
Boy, he's upset, but there's no question he gets there early. And the reason why, he times it, he sees that he reads the play.
That's interference. Defense number 23. Penalized at the spot of the foul. First down.
But watch as you watch the wide receiver down at the bottom of the screen. As he turns around, Terry Glenn now will come back just enough to allow the Terry Fair not a chance to get by him and break up the play.
And that wasn't Drew Bledsoe's best pass of the day either.
Yeah, that football came out a little funny.
Back to Bledsoe.
Across the field.
Finally gets rid of it over here to Rutledge. Rutledge to the 30. And the Lions converge on him, but he did have people deep down the field.
Well, the flea flicker, the Patriots have run this one for many years. But the problem with this one is it just happens too quick. Like the defense doesn't even have time to react to it. Watch. Handoff, turn, and just immediately you're throwing it back.
Stephen Boyd did not take the fake at all.
Not at all.
J.R. Redmond came right up to a hole in the line, and Boyd stood there and watched him.
Well, that just shows you the linebacker is reading the offensive lineman, not the running back.
Redmond trying to get the first down. He'll be close, but he appears to be about a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Sorry, Greg. That's why Stephen Boyd did not take the fake. The offensive line all kind of stood up. Now, you know, these guys are trained. They've seen, Stephen Boyd has seen pass sets 10,000 times in his life, and he knows when they do that, it's not going to be a running play or a power run right up the middle.
3rd and 1 and a big play for the New England offense here. That's Redmond in motion to give us to Carter. Carter is hit and appears to be short of the first down.
Well, not a great mark. He looks like he might be short, Greg. I think if he is short, Bill Belichick will go for it on 4th down, and I'm wrong. Couldn't even get it out of my mouth.
Onto the field comes Adam Vinatieri, just waiting for you to say, I think he's going to go for it. Okay, now we go.
I see. I should have waited to see what he was going to, because the people at home don't know.
No.
I guess right again.
There are people who will do that, but you are way too honorable.
Really?
Today.
Okay, thank you.
Vinatieri.
Is he still perfect?
He's still perfect.
All right.
This will be a 43-yard attempt. And he's still perfect.
Man, down the middle again.
Adam Vinatieri, his 3rd field goal of the day. And the Patriots regain the lead. It's 9, and now a penalty marker flies with what appears to be a late hit. 39-yard return.
He was gone if he's not tripped up there at the last second. Tony George, number 41, I think, saved the touchdown. And it's just amazing to watch Desmond Howard.
Personal foul.
Oh.
Chris Floyd is the one who jumps on after Desmond Howard is piled up, so add more yardage onto that return. Overdome, Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, and our ace CBS Sports crew. 8:39 to play in the 3rd quarter of a 9-6 game. The Patriots lead by 3, and the Lions start in New England territory. The pass over the middle, complete. Johnny Morton inside the 25-yard line, 1st down Detroit.
Well, if you heard the halftime show, Craig James and the studio, Mike Dick, all of them right. Play action passes, I think that's the way to go for this Detroit Lions offense. When they do those play action passes, it gives Charlie Batch longer time to throw the football. He gets in good position, and you can see it lets the receivers get way down the field.
Batch under the gun, throws the short screen, and it's dropped by James Stewart.
A blitz, if he catches it, it could score a touchdown. Almost the same thing that happened a few minutes ago. The Patriots caught the Lions in a blitz. Look, everybody's coming. You could see the safety running over, trying to get in position. Oh, and they got the blockers in front. You don't get it set up any better than this. And James Stewart, Sylvester Crooms told us yesterday, the offensive coordinator, he's very good when it comes to catching the ball and making screen plays work.
Stewart on the run across the 20 to about the 19-yard line. Pick up a 4, and it'll be 3rd and 6. And here's where Charlie Batch is throwing the football today.
Yeah, you can see the big thing right over the middle. 5 for 5 over the middle. That's excellent. And that is one of the reasons why the Patriots do spread the field. They put their safeties outside, so there's less people in the center, and that's where you should throw it.
3rd and 6. Batch stands in there, throws, hits Morton. Morton out of bounds inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal.
Good job on the Lions. Another blitz. They pick it up, and Charlie Batch has to stay calm, watching. Oh no, pull it back, but still throws it soft enough and accurately enough for Johnny Morton to make the catch. That was a good job. You know, even though his stats haven't been great today, Charlie Batch has been calm. He looks like he's under control and throwing the football with some zip on it.
Johnny Morton, 10 yards receiving in the first half, 36 on this drive alone. Play clock down to 1. They get the snap off. The give, and tripping up at the 10-yard line is James Stewart. And what did we say earlier about the transition that he was telling us about from natural grass in Jacksonville to the artificial turf here in Detroit?
Yeah, turf would make a lot of tackles, I'll tell you that. And that time, it might save the Patriots. Watch James Stewart's feet. Oh, yeah, you see, he went to make that cut. It looks like he's even got tennis shoes on, which don't grip as much as some of these turf shoes, so it stops some of that. But that time, Got the toe of his toe dug down in there and it made him trip.
2nd and goal. Movement on the offensive line just before the snap on the right side.
Prior to the snap, false start, 64 offense.
That's Jeff Harding, the right guard.
You know, it's an interesting story. Gary Moeller takes over as the head coach. Last week before they played the Giants, Saturday night, they're on the road. He calls Charlie Batch, says, come up to my room. And he's thinking, oh, well, coach is going to give me like, okay, here's what we're going to do tomorrow. He goes up there, puts a film on from last year. They played the Minnesota Vikings. And Charlie Batch says, I'm looking at it going, wow, that was great. And Gary Moeller says, that's what I want from my quarterback. And it put Charlie Batch at ease. It made him feel good about himself and how he should play. He played very well last week. And he's doing it again today, playing loose and free.
Stewart up the middle. And that's not going to get him very much. And here come the boos again. Under 5.5 to play. And Batch looks to the sideline to see what they're going to do now.
You know, that play looks bad. And, of course, the fans boo. But, you know, there's a lot of thought and design that goes in it. It's 2nd down and long. You think the defense is going to be like they're going to throw it. So you try to catch them off guard. And when it doesn't work, yes, it's ugly. And the fans, of course, respond by giving a little boo.
They can't help but think along the sidelines about that trip up by James Stewart. Looked to have a pretty good shot at the end zone. Play clock down to 3. Batch calling signals. Under the gun, penalty markers are down as he goes down at about the 17 or 18 yard line. Henry Thomas in on the quarterback. This call, however, is going to go against New England. That's a break for Detroit. Offsides call. It appeared to be number 94, Greg Spires.
Well, that play, a couple things. They're taking too long to get the play
Offside. 94 defense. Penalized half the distance to the goal. Remains 3rd down.
Listen, it's 3rd down and goal. There's so many thoughts. Where am I going to look? What's the coverage? Are they going to blitz me? And when you put the quarterback in a position to keep looking at that play clock, it's hard to make clear and clean decisions down there. Well, this time he's got plenty of time.
All kinds of time. 3rd and goal from the 4 yard line. Batch from the shotgun. Pulls it back on the run. Going for the end zone and comes up short. Antonio Langham came up for the hit, and Batch is stopped short of the goal line.
That's awfully close. They're going to have to look at this before you send that field goal team in there.
Luther Ellis, one of the players on the sideline, yelling at the coaching staff to go for it.
Yeah, he's right. Go for it. Inside to 1. You got a good defense. If you don't make it, well, there's just another good example of the speed in the NFL now. It looked like Charlie Batch would walk into the end zone. He has to get down to protect himself.
And now Batch appears to have called a timeout. He has called a timeout. He's going to come over and discuss things on the near sideline. This is a big play for Gary Moeller and the Detroit Lions. We'll be back. Goal.
2 things in the league. Crossing routes makes it tough for the defense down here.
Stewart alone back in the backfield, and now Schlesinger joins him. Batch going to keep it.
They do it.
And throws for the end zone. Touchdown. Penalty markers are down. Markers are down. David Sloan made the catch. And Batch is laid out. But let's check the flag.
They ran a play. Charlie Batch took some hit. He had to hang in there and wait for his last possible receiver to come open to throw the football. And he took a big hit. He had to open himself up, expose his chest to the defensive guy to be able to throw the football in the back of the end zone.
And the officials continue to talk at the goal line. Here comes the call. It's against New England.
And Greg, they did what every team in this league does. You get in that formation and you start crossing all the receivers underneath, and it's almost impossible to cover them when the quarterback, oh, what a job. Look at him backwards and takes a big hit from Chris Slade. Watch Charlie Batch. This is why it works. Chris Slade, right in the chest, drives him to the ground. His right shoulder.
David Sloan's first touchdown catch of the season, his first touchdown since November of 1999. And we have our first touchdown of the day. Jason Hansen comes on for the extra point. And it's good. 3:45 to play in the third quarter. Charlie Batch takes the hit, delivers the touchdown pass. The Lions lead 13-9.
Ask me, how did I know they were going to run that play?
Because everybody runs that play at the goal.
There you go. Boy, you are, I tell you, you are a quick learner.
Hansen with the kick. Kevin Falk, a yard deep in his end zone. 15. Spinning to about the 20. So Drew Bledsoe, now trailing 13-9, will be back in action.
The back of the end zone. The crosser's not open, and Charlie Batch, just buying the extra time, enables the play to be a touchdown.
Batch hurting a little bit, loosening up on the sideline. Bledsoe to throw on first down. Throws down the sideline, is incomplete. Glenn trying to make the adjustment, couldn't get there.
We hear so many times from coaches in this league, you get a little emotion, get some momentum on your side, and all of a sudden your team just starts making plays. The Lions, they have a good drive in offense, they score, and you can feel the energy in the place. The fans are into it. The defense should be more aggressive now.
We talked about how the Bluebirds were on Charlie Batch. He deserved a round of applause after the way he stood in there and took the hit.
Well, and that scramble enabled the touchdown too when he scrambled to the half-yard line.
This time it's Redmond. And Redmond not going to get anywhere against that front four. We were talking about this earlier today with Armin Katayan, who grew up here in the Detroit area and is familiar with these Detroit Lions. Armin saying his dad used to bring him here on Thanksgiving Day to watch football. He said the Detroit Lions have always had a tough defensive line.
Greg, you're right, and Armin's kind of made us, and we understand more about the game from what he's told us since he grew up here. But even when I was a player, I couldn't wait for our Thursday, go in there, work, and get it over with, so I could go home and eat and relax and watch the Lions on TV and the game afterwards. It is a wonderful tradition.
3rd and 10. And Drew Bledsoe calls timeout with the play clock down to 2. So each team now down a timeout here in the second half. And we'll take this opportunity to remind you, Friday on CBS, Dr. Richard Kimball is being hunted by a hired killer in the most riveting episode ever. If you haven't seen it, you haven't experienced the all-new Fugitive, Friday. That would be tomorrow here on CBS. 2:38 to play here in the third quarter.
I think one of the reasons why we're having some of these timeouts today, the quarterbacks are having a hard time. Plays are a little slow coming in, but the play clocks are so far away for these guys. Usually they try to put them right in front of the quarterback, high up where you can see it. Here, they're way to the right. You almost have to bend your neck to look at them. There's one, and the other end zone's even worse.
And that one is for the quarterback who is going right down the middle of the field there. Gets a little tougher the closer you get to the goal line. 3rd and 10. Markers are up. Bledsoe keeps. Brought down at about the 26-yard line by Stephen Boyd. And we'll get a...
Saying it. Okay.
Here's Ron Winter.
Offside. Left defensive tackle. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd and 5.
The Lions, their defensive line, they have good enough pass rushers where they don't have to trick it up a whole lot on 3rd downs. They can let their 4 defensive linemen pressure the quarterback, and everybody else can drop back and cover.
Bledsoe looks for Shockmaine Davis, and he is trying to get first down yardage and appears to be right there. Very, very close.
Well, there's the first down line. It's short. They've done this play a couple times today. They're going to measure. But that time, nice route by Shockmaine Davis. Drew Bledsoe a little too quick throwing the football. Just let it develop. For about another half second, hit him in stride. He'd have picked up the first down easily. With Shockmaine Davis.
Short by that much. And Lee Johnson comes onto the field.
Well, that's big. To cheat your offense of 3 more plays, field position. But the Lions now, they feel good. Offense is in rhythm. The quicker you get them back out on the field, the better chance they have of having success.
Patriots today have started 5 of 7 drives inside their own 25-yard line. And meanwhile, number 80 at the other end of the field, Desmond Howard, has helped the Detroit offense tremendously.
Greg, that is a big stat, something we never pay enough attention to. Field position, we said it earlier, hard to go for 80-yard drives and score touchdowns in the NFL.
Johnson, another booming kick. Howard from the 13. And tried to get up the sideline, bumped out of bounds at about the 30-yard line by Larry Wiggum.
Well, I've seen Charlie Batch earlier in the year. I just thought, boy, he does not look like the same quarterback. The last couple of weeks, he's gotten better. And today, well, he started out with the fumble, but recovered pretty well from it. Nice throw down the middle. Good long ball to Herman Moore. And the best play of the day, I think, for him. Buying an extra second and really taking a big shot to get the touchdown.
You see his numbers as he goes to work from his own 30-yard line, throwing over the middle, and has his tight end, Walter Rasby, for about 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3.
You know, I remember seeing Charlie Batch early in the year, and I just went, wow, his leg. You know, when he was running around, he couldn't move. And anytime you hurt, especially the back leg of a quarterback, the one they push off of, it is really going to, you know, make their passing much, well, they're going to be less efficient for sure.
On 2nd and 3. On the ground, James Stewart tries the left side, has first down yardage, out to the 45. To Bucky Jones, corrals him there, but it'll be a first down for the Lions.
Well, there was Herman Moore, number 84. Watch what he does on the outside. James Stewart doesn't like it inside, takes it out. Watch 84 on your screen. Just enough to get it the few extra yards for James Stewart. Herman Moore, you got to be able to do it all. Well, that's not a great block, but he does get in the way of Ty Law. Well, you don't have to be a great blocker out there. Just get in the way, make them run around you.
46-yard line. Batch, play action, throws. Oh, what a catch. What a grab by Herman Moore, just short of the 45-yard line of the New England Patriots.
Tall receivers make up for some bad throws because they have such a big range where you can throw the football to.
1 quarter to play. Who's going to win this game? Who's going to win the All-Iron Trophy? That's the end of 3 with the score 13-9 Detroit. We'll come back after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Moore said he talked with Gary Moeller about catching the ball more. He said, just let me help this team. How's this for a little help?
This is pretty good. I said earlier, Herman Moore about 6'4" or 5. You have a big window there where to throw the football. He can reach up and get it.
3 catches, 32 yards today. He's over 9,000 yards receiving for his career.
Well, he talked to Gary Moeller, and Gary Moeller said, look, I'm going to put you in position to make the plays. Let's see if you do it.
On 2nd and 2, James Stewart, first down yardage across the 45, down to about the 41-yard line, and we go down to Armin.
Thanks, Greg. You know, when Batch got that shot into the chest and he came to the sidelines, it really looked like he wasn't going to live for about another 2 minutes. It's amazing the recovery process when your coach comes over and all the players come over and congratulate you. But I can tell you from watching him for the last 5 minutes or so, he's got my vote for the All-Iron Award because of the kind of pain he's in right now playing.
Oh, Armin with the early return.
Man, you know, Armin's part politician. Look at him, already politicking. Well, you got the good view down there, though, Armin.
First down, Batch running out of trouble, throwing long, penalty marker is down, incomplete, intended for Johnny Morton. And Batch is on the turf again.
Well, he escaped trouble. He gets out of it, steps up. I thought he threw a touchdown pass when he let it go and took another big hit.
Well, we certainly have at least one call against the Lion.
Well, this happened a couple weeks ago. Charlie Batch went down like this, and the fans were booing him at home here in the stadium.
Well, maybe it's going to be against New England. Let's see. It's all against New England.
Wow, personal foul, roughing the passer, too.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding. Defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 36 in the defense. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
That's Lawyer Malloy.
It's a blitz. Charlie Batch steps up, gets rid of it. Oh, and the hit is late. Lawyer Malloy, number 36. Here he comes. He sees the quarterback step up.
And Batch, well, not too hurt to sit up and see what happened to the football that he threw.
Now, yeah, you know, of course, he is in pain, Greg. The touchdown throw, if you notice when he got hit on that, he never looked up. That always tells me that the quarterback is not feeling very good, because usually when you throw it, you're going to look to see what happens with the ball before you get in pain.
Well, remember those first half boos? Listen to the cheers for Charlie Batch as he gets to his feet and heads to the sideline.
I don't know if they've really ever booed Charlie Batch today. I think they've been booing the play calling and the lack of the execution a couple times. But he has been under pressure today. And he's responded to it very well.
So onto the field comes Stoney Case, 6th-year man out of New Mexico.
Yes, Tony Case has been with the Arizona Cardinals. He's been with the Baltimore Ravens. Came here, Mike Tomczak got hurt in the preseason. He's been the backup, and he's got some ability. Moves around pretty well.
Quick pass out here to Herman Moore. Moore out of bounds, just short of the 15-yard line. Run out by Ty Law.
Well, we've seen this play from both teams today. What a way to get a quarterback off to a good start. One step real quick. Get it out to Herman Moore. And this is a tough. Ty Law, it's just tough. You can't go up and be too aggressive, because if you miss him, he's going to score a touchdown. You're Herman Moore. Let's see what you look like out here. See, Ty Law has no choice but to play it safe and give up the yards.
First down from the 16.
Oh, look at this, another blitz.
To give to Stewart, and Stewart across the 15 to about the 13-yard line.
Now that, you hear that statement all the time, a new quarterback comes in the game with a blitzing. Most of the time it's not true. The Patriots, this is true. They're coming after the quarterback because this is the first snaps of the game.
Clock continues to move up on 13 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. And saw Charlie Batch walking along the sideline.
Yeah, he's saying, okay, get me in.
Well, Case is going to go at least this play. Second down and 7. A little movement before the snap.
And Batch is going to come back in now.
False start. 62 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
It's left guard Tony Semple, and Case comes off. Batch gets another final word before he heads back onto the field. Well, we talked about it earlier. His knee injury, surgery in June, missed all of training camp. Played in the final preseason game, but really didn't have much until lately, the last couple of weeks, when he says he's begun to feel healthy for the first time. He stands in there, over the middle, complete to the end zone. No touchdown call. Down at about the half-yard line is Cedric Irvin. $18 yards.
Nice play by the Detroit Lions offense. Well designed. Look what happens. You're going to see the tight end on your screen. He comes through. Second man through. Makes it tough on the defense to cover. And short of the end zone.
Cedric Irvin has not scored a touchdown this year. And he didn't get one there.
Oh, he's down.
This has review written all over it. Gary Moeller has thrown the red flag here on the sideline.
Let's take a look. Again, nice design. Good job of stepping up by Charlie Batch. Perfect throw. Watch what happens. Down. Now, you know, a lot of people, too. Greg, if you're sitting at home, you go, well, why review it? You know, come on, just score the touchdown. I'll tell you why.
I learned my lesson on that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we've did games this year where they get inside the one on first down and you don't score a touchdown. So you've got to take this review if you think you're right as a coach. You don't want to take a chance of running another play.
It's just that I think he's wrong on this play.
I do too. But you only have about 15 or 20 seconds to make that decision.
So Ron Winters looks it over. We have 12:06 to play in the fourth quarter, and Detroit holding on to a 13-9 lead and looking to expand upon it right now.
Come on, Ron, you got to jog now. Let's go, babe.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The runner's hip touched the ground before the ball broke the goal line play. Detroit is charged with a timeout. The play results in a first down.
So Detroit down to one timeout. Here's the play again.
Well, let's look at it one more time. This is a pretty easy call, I thought. As he goes down, the football is not across the goal line.
So the ball is 1/2 yard out. First and goal for the Lions. Schlesinger and Stewart behind Batch. Batch going to keep it. No signal yet.
Well, that's a headache. Quarterback sneak down the goal line. Oh, don't even think about calling it, Coach, if I was in there. I think it's a good play, the quarterback sneak, when you're on the goal line, when your quarterback is able to jump over for the touchdown. But to bury your head and do this, oh no. I think it's a big risk to the quarterback when you do it that way.
Second down. Stewart leaping into the end zone for the touchdown. James Stewart with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season.
That is about as high as I've seen somebody jump for a touchdown in that situation. Or as high as anybody I've ever seen do it. James Stewart takes it. Boy, that is awesome. See what the umpire, cam. Man, he went out of the screen. That is really a terrific job. A nice talent to have down near the goal line.
Jason Hansen on for the extra point. And it is good. 11:18 to play in the fourth quarter. Charlie Batch gets off the turf, comes back from injury to register another touchdown for the Lions.
Wins can get you in the playoffs.
Kevin Falk from a yard deep in the end zone. Hit it dropped at the 17 or 18-yard line. Number 17, Larry Foster, in to make the tackle. Let's talk about Sunday. The NFL on CBS rocks with doubleheader action. Rob Johnson sparking the Bills against Warren Sapp and the Tampa Bay Bucks. And Phil and Armin and I will be in Indianapolis.
Miami at Indianapolis. Going to be a lot of fun.
So Drew Bledsoe now. The Patriots have to manufacture some offense. They go to 5 wide receivers on first down from their own 18-yard line. Throwing to the far side, and that is complete to Troy Brown. And Brown down at about the 24-yard line. With the pickup of 6, it'll be 2nd and 4, and they're going to go without a huddle.
Well, I like this. Doing this, you're 2 scores down, or maybe 1 touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal. Look at Belichick. He knows the defense, regardless of what happens here, they need a 3 and out.
Bledsoe on the move, throws, intercepted. Lost football, covered up again at about the 15-yard line. And it belongs to Detroit. Marquise Walker, the 5th-year cornerback out of Southeast Missouri.
Well, Drew Bledsoe has the receiver open. It's to his left. He's not going to throw it. He runs. Now he decides to throw it too long. Marquise Walker reads him, came up on the first attempt, then he gets the interception.
His first interception of the season. We talked about the Lions and their takeaways. They come up with one here and have the ability to put this game on ice.
Well, takeaways, when you get situations in your favor, it's amazing how the takeaways come. And there's the 33rd forced turnover this season, the most in the league. Get ahead of a team, make them throw. Every down, you can cause a turnover.
Big congratulations for Walker on the sideline. James Stewart. Bruising run to about the 12-yard line. Let's take the opportunity to remind you, for the best NFL coverage on the net, including exclusive previews of Sunday's games, click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com.
Well, I'll tell you, it's something about this stadium on Thanksgiving Day. It took a while for the Detroit Lions to catch that fever, but once they caught it, the offense came alive, and the defense has played very well all day long.
Stewart. Boy, the yards are getting tough up the middle. To about the 10.5-yard line.
Now, you got to, they want to work the clock, do all that. They're up by 11, but a touchdown would almost put the game out of reach. A field goal only makes it 2 scores for the New England Patriots. So you got to dig down in there and get a play you think's going to pick up a first down and give you a chance to score.
And you talk about eating some of that time off. The Lions have had 2 drives for touchdowns this half. One of them taking 5 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. The other taking 5:25. We come up on 9 minutes to play. 3rd and 5. Play fake. Batch. Gonna run it to the 5. Touchdown.
That looked like it might have hurt.
He is some tough football player.
Well, I remember being here last year, and Bobby Ross just says this guy's got a quality about him that makes him special. Players want to play for him. And that's plays like that.
He comes off of the field bent over, a hand on his shoulder or his chest. Jason Hansen for the extra point. It is good. Well, the Lions draw inspiration from Thanksgiving Day. They've also drawn inspiration from Charlie Batch today. They lead it 27-9. Boy, what a day's work he's put in here. Falk at the 6. Tripped up and falls forward, and their penalty marker's down. Lions seem to feel that it's on New England.
Don't leave your feet.
It is on the Patriots.
Kevin Falk. Let's see, he's going to take, oh boy, leaves his feet, and when you go up in the air like that.
Charlie Batch from Umpcam. You know what? It's even more impressive. All-Iron Player of the Game award makes someone's Thanksgiving complete. Neil Arrington reports live from Dallas, where the Cowboys host the Vikings later. That's all coming up on the Subway post-game show. The flip out to the side is intended for Patrick Pass, and that pass is incomplete. Well, second down.
The one thing, we've said it a couple times, though, Greg, get in a position like this on the road, Drew Bledsoe, this Lions defensive line, they can get after the passer. So Drew Bledsoe, you better make a decision and get rid of it and protect yourself.
Going without a huddle. 2nd and 10. Bledsoe over the middle, has his man across the 25 out to the 30 is Terry Glenn. 18-yard pickup. Patriots this half have started drives from their own 14, 21, 18, and this one began at their own 12-yard line. That's not the optimum way to play offense. Quick pass. Caught, dropped, incomplete. Shockmain Davis had it and dropped it. The officials say that is an incomplete pass. Lamar Campbell applying the hit.
See, Bledsoe not even going to a huddle because he doesn't want the Lions to be able to substitute any players. Just try to keep the pace fast. When it's fast, sometimes the defense can make a mistake.
Bledsoe. Penalty markers down as that pass is out to Terry Glenn across the 45-yard line. And that's Terry Fair again.
Pass interference. Number 23 of the defense. Penalized at the spot of the foul. And a first down.
Well, Terry Fair has been involved an awful lot, but I mean, it's because they don't want to throw that much this side to Bryant Westbrook.
Oh, just a big collision. Holds on. A lot of things wrong on that play.
Bledsoe. Quick drop, quick slant. And number 39, Lamar Campbell with the hit on Terry Glenn. You mentioned Bryant Westbrook, Phil. There's a ball player who's turned his life around this year.
Bryant Westbrook, number 32. Him and Terry Fair have been the biggest improvements to this defense, I think. But, Greg, you're right. Struggled in the past years. Had a little trouble with the law, DUI back in June.
That pass falls incomplete, and there's a marker down.
We got a roughing the passer.
That's number 67, Travis Kershke, in on Bledsoe.
But just to go back to Bryant Westbrook, though, turned his life around, quit drinking. He says, you know, I just grew up. I'm going to become a pro. Takes care of his body now.
Roughing the passer, number 67 defense. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Bryant Westbrook, the last several years, totaled 5 interceptions. He has 5 of them already this year.
Well, you know, just to give you a real quick thing, he used to sit, he says, hey, I used to sleep in meetings. I went out every night. Of course, I was drinking, and all that showed up on the field. Couldn't make the plays, and Greg, you just said it. Now in shape, paying attention, watching film, and he's become a really very productive player.
Troy Brown with the reception. He's inside the 35-yard line to the 33 as the Patriots try to get something done here in a hurry as the clock continues to move.
But just to say one last thing, just the fact that he told that to us and the way he said it lets you know he's grown up, and, you know, I think now you're going to see about a 8 or 10 more years of productive play from Bryant Westbrook at the corner.
From the 34. Bledsoe on the move, and he's going to run it to the 30. Slides down at the 25, and that'll be a first down for New England. You know, in fact, we had to laugh, Phil, when he said I used to sleep in meeting rooms, and now I'm waking guys up.
Yeah, yeah, it's turned. How about that? Well, that's what you need. You need players. Gary Moeller says, I asked my older veterans, or my upperclassmen, as he says, using the college phrase, to help me get things done with this team.
Pass to about the 20-yard line. Rod Rutledge on the receiving end.
And as I've been on teams and around different coaches, and there's Gary Moeller, you got to have, I used to call them, or we did, flag bearers. You got to have about 5 flag bearers on your football team. In other words, players, they're going to try to institute the policies of the head coach once in the locker room. In other words, to take care, make sure players don't sleep in meetings. Pay attention. Work hard when you're on the practice field, those type of things. The coaches can't do it all. They do need help.
2nd and 5. Bledsoe pumps twice. Now rolls left. He's going to keep it and run for it. And he's out of bounds before he gets there. He is about a yard short of the first down. Charlie Batch, we get word, has bruised ribs and will not return today. But you know what? He's done his work for the day.
Boy, he did. He had a nice day. I tell you, very productive and timely, and just the way he went about it. When the opportunity was there, he made the plays, and then when it wasn't there, he made it up a couple times, hanging in the pocket to get the touchdown throw, and a couple huge scrambles that have been the difference in the game.
On 3rd and 1, Bledsoe to about the 11.
You know, the other thing, too, is we see Drew Bledsoe on the quarterback sneak. The one thing I've noticed about him this year that I haven't seen in the past, he's much more active as a quarterback. Not afraid to run out there, pick up a couple tough yards, and he just has, I think, a better sense when the play is dead, give it up and move around.
Bledsoe 4 carries for 27 yards. Going to run this one up the middle. Penalty markers are down as he goes down at about the 8-yard line.
Now, as I say that, let's don't get carried away with this running thing. Because when you look at Drew Bledsoe, we'll wait for the call.
Offside, 94 defense, a 5-yard penalty.
That's
remains first down.
Luther Ellis.
But talking about Drew Bledsoe, you know, you talk about the future of the Patriots. It's going to include this quarterback, big contract year. They're way over the cap, but what's going to happen is he's going to sign a new contract and actually help the Patriots out. It's the way things go in the salary cap and averaging your contract over years. It'll bring his cap number down for next year, which would enable them maybe to go out and get another good player.
Bledsoe throws. That is incomplete. You know, a couple of things that Bill Belichick would like to have his eyes on, but you know they'd like a very consistent ground game.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Greg, I don't know where you go first.
Well, yeah, Drew Bledsoe and the help wanted ads. How about an offensive line? Yeah, and a tight end. At the offensive line, he's been sacked 35 times this year.
Going to need some new linemen, maybe. You know, they're definitely going to have to try to get a big-time running back somewhere.
We'll give this one to J.R. Redmond, and that's not going to go anywhere.
But in the league, as we said earlier, in a league where there is a tremendous number of playmakers in the league now at the wide receiver position, even the running backs, the Patriots are short in that category. They need a difference maker at the tight end or a third wide receiver. And as Bill Belichick said last night too, they need a dynamic front seven defensive player, either a defensive lineman or a linebacker. And when you say that, you mean somebody that can rush the passer.
Make plays.
If you can't rush the passer in the NFL, you are not going to win.
And we get a timeout on the field. Bledsoe burns his second of 3. And we'll be back. Teams that are good at certain times of the year. This is not a good time of the year for turkeys.
No, it's not.
They seem to have a bad time right about now. Bledsoe and the Patriots. 3rd and 6. Need the 1-yard line for a first down. Patriots running backs have 39 yards today. Bledsoe has 27 running. Gonna throw this side. Intercepted. Bryant Westbrook down the sideline. Gets the block on Bledsoe, and he's going to go. It looks to be unofficially about 101 yards on the return.
Boy, that was so reminiscent of Lawrence Taylor taking one back. It was actually on the other side of the end zone, but a pass thrown by a quarterback in the flat, under pressure. You can't quite see what the defense is doing. And Bryant Westbrook, hey, study some film. It's amazing. You get a little lucky, you're right.
Bryant Westbrook says since he's turned things around, he does things like take film home and study it at night. Hanson's extra point kick is good.
Well, it's a blitz by the Detroit Lions, and anytime there's a blitz, quarterbacks know, got to get rid of it quick. Watch, he throws off balance. There was a defender coming free, and Bryant Westbrook, he knew there was a blitz, and what made this so easy for him, hey, the receiver's not going to run by you. You're down near the goal line. So he takes the chance at the right time and gets rewarded with a touchdown.
Lamar Campbell getting in Bledsoe's way, can't get there for the tackle. It is now officially a 100-yard return for Bryant Westbrook.
And you know, it just comes back. You know, it's preparation. That's what really allows these players. You know, Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator, said it. You know, when your players really prepare, it just greatens your chances to get turnovers because they get just that little bit of an edge, a little jump, and that's all. In the NFL, we're talking about the difference between winning and losing. It's so small, so why not give yourself that edge?
That smile on his face is the same one he had throughout our entire interview with him 2 days ago.
Greg, he looks like a different person physically. There's no question emotionally and mentally that he is a different player, and it shows on the field.
Hanson's kick. Kevin Falk from the goal line. To the 20. And no further. We'll take the opportunity to remind you tonight on CBS, it's a night of music you won't want to miss.
Not surprised. I really thought, and I'm not a big believer you take your quarterback out ever, but the season, it's been long for Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. I thought even the last drive, maybe they were taking him out to give Tom Brady a few extra snaps.
Tom Brady, local favorite, rookie out of Michigan, 6th-round draft choice, and jumping off sides there is Robert Porcher. Bryant Westbrook out of the University of Texas. Take a look.
Full speed. Wow, he knew that when he caught it, he knew it was gone.
6 interceptions on the year for Westbrook.
He's trying to make a late surge to get the player of the game, the all-iron player. Saw Drew Bledsoe.
Brady hits his man in the head. Hit J.R. Redmond right in the helmet.
Now, you know, if I was Charlie Weiss, which I'm not, but Tom Brady coming in, let me tell you, this kid's nervous.
That's his first pass of the season.
He is nervous. So throw one of those screens. You got about 10 different ones in. Let him just complete a pass, and he'll feel a lot better and settle down, and it'll give him a chance to, you know, throw it down the field afterwards.
It is a 2nd and 5. Brady going to throw it to the side. Oh. Bryant Westbrook had dreams again.
Oh, if it's thrown on target, it's gone. Last night, talking to Bill Belichick, I'll never forget this. He goes, these corners, Bryant Westbrook and Terry fair. Oh, he's got it. He knows it.
Now, you know,
but Belichick did say they are squatters. In other words, they look at the quarterback and try to break and make those plays.
See that look of disappointment on Bryant Westbrook's face again. You can get a little greedy on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, it usually happens at the table, though.
3rd and 5. Brady completes that one. Penalty marker is down. J.R. Redmond was the man who pulled it in. Let's check the marker. And looks like we have an illegal man downfield on the pass.
Come on. They got to know it's Tom Brady's first completion. Let it go.
A little discussion down on the field. Here's Ron Winter.
Ineligible man downfield, number 65 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
So we're still looking for Tom Brady's first NFL completion.
Yeah, they finally threw the screenplay. You know, Greg, though, since Gary Moeller has taken over, this is going to be the 3rd straight victory for the Detroit Lions. And it's, again, maybe it is a little lift for the team. It's something different, but it's been enough to spark them, make them play a little better, and then, you know, all that is showing on the field.
Phil, we get word now Westbrook's return officially is 101 yards to tie the Lions record held by George Teague back in 1994.
George Teague.
Third and 10. Quick drop, quick pass. Rutledge has it. Trying to break free, but can't. And he'll be about 5 yards short of a first down, and the Patriots will have to kick it away. You know, when you say that, you know, there's a little spark to the Lions, that's not to say that Bobby Ross was viewed in a negative light here in Detroit.
Not at all. And, you know, I hope people don't take it that way. I just got to say this. I didn't know Bobby Ross real well, but I watched his teams. I watched him at Georgia Tech, at San Diego, and here. He's got to feel good. He went into retirement. He did it his way. You know, he did what he believed in, and it worked at 2 different levels, and that is saying something not many people have done. And I hope he enjoys his time off. Enjoy your wife, your grandchildren, because you deserve it.
Desmond Howard. Larry Wiggum grabbed the ball on the bounce and tossed it to Desmond Howard. And there are smiles all over the field downstairs. We remind you, coming up on the Subway postgame show, Jim, Mike, and Craig, a complete recap of this game. Phil will present the All-Iron Player of the Game award, making some lucky player happy on Thanksgiving Day. Jill Arrington has a report live from Dallas, where the Cowboys host the Vikings. And we've cooked up the NFL Plays of the Year for your holiday enjoyment. That's coming up on the Subway post-game show. And here's what happened on that punt. Larry Wiggum with the ball. Here, Desmond, and now look out.
Oh, look, he could.
Larry Wiggum is a have fun kind of guy. And you know what? When you're down 34-9, it's tough to have fun with less than 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, you know, don't. When you're losing a football game, too much work goes into this. I hear people say, oh, the NFL, the no fun league, and I'm going, hey, let me tell you, that's so absurd.
Stoney Case in at quarterback. And the ball to the 28-yard line. Cedric Irvin, the second-year back from Michigan State. And there is Charlie Batch on the sideline.
Boy, he's got to feel good. This has been quite a turnaround for Charlie Batch the last couple weeks. Tell you, it really shows you, no matter who you are and what position, you need training camp. You got to get in football shape, get conditioned to play in these games, and he is really rounded in form at the right time for the Detroit Lions.
Second and 7, and this will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. The Pitch for Irvin, cuts it back across the 30 out to about the 33-yard line, and that will be the last play before we hit our 2-minute warning. We've got some voting to do. 34-9, 2 minutes to play here as the action goes on down on the field. This is going to be Cedric Irvin around the right side with a little room to run. And Cedric Irvin goes down after a big gainer. And, you know, it's lucky for the guys back in the studio that we happen to agree with their voting pattern, and we've decided who the all-iron player of the game is.
I like the way you said it, the early returns. Who do you think you are, Dan Rather? You know, that's pretty good, though. But you're right. Charlie Batch, Greg, there's no question he epitomized everything you want to see in a football player. He played well. He played hard under pressure. He took some big hits, and he was the difference in the game today.
How about these numbers for Batch? 17 of 25, 204 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Oh, he also rushed for one hurtful touchdown.
Oh, yeah, and then don't forget the other scramble, the touchdown before where he scrambled to the half-yard line. The Lions went for it on the following play, score, and, you know, that was an awfully big play, too.
Stoney Case takes a knee, and the final minute will run out here with about one more play. And the Detroit Lions will have won their third straight under head coach Gary Moeller. And, you know, you can feel there's a little bit of a difference. You know, you watch the local newscast, people are excited about these Detroit Lions.
They are. Saw it all around town this week. And, you know, we always had a saying as players and the league and everything, somewhere late in the season, you got to catch it. You got to get the fever. And I believe the Lions have. They've found a nice way to play, and it's proved out to be very good for them the last 3 weeks.
We remind you, coming up on the post-game show, we will award the trophy to Charlie Batch down on the field. Stay tuned for that.
Hope he takes it.
Oh, we'll take it. Okay. He may need someone to help him carry it, but Charlie Batch, one happy camper as well. He should be. 34-9 is our final score. And Gary Moeller has won 3 straight. Once again, our final score, Detroit 34, New England Patriots 9. We'll send you to our NFL on CBS studios for the Subway postgame show, including the awarding of the All-Iron Player of the Game. Right after these messages, you're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 35.
For some great individual performances, you certainly lived up today in the second half.
Thank you. Obviously, we got off to a rough start, but we was able to pick together after halftime. The team played real well. And still have to give credit to the offensive line because they kept them off me when I needed them to.
Well, after that first touchdown pass, you played in pain. How difficult was it? And I want to show you something here on behalf of everybody from CBS, particularly Phil Simms, doing whatever it takes to win a game and toughness on the field. The All-Iron Award. Congratulations, Charlie. You certainly deserve it.
Thank you.
All right, Phil and Greg, back to you. Very happy, Charlie Batch.
All right, Armin. 4th straight win on Thanksgiving Day for the Detroit Lions as they take dead aim on the postseason. Let's go back to New York.
All right, thank you.
The next thing I remember is looking up at a group of people around me, paramedics and doctors.
Actually, he went into a little seizure on the sideline, and I was like, I don't know. I think he's really hurt because he was kind of